The following video is about Nate, who works at a cemetery, and for weeks now, he's believed something followed him home. Strange sounds in his house at night, footsteps on the basement stairs, objects being thrown in the dark. His working theory is that whatever attached itself to him did so on the grounds of this cemetery, and so on his second day back, he arrived hoping, genuinely hoping, that it had finally stayed behind. He walks through the maintenance garage, a cluttered space filled with zero-turn mowers, brooms, and landscaping equipment, narrating quietly to himself, saying he hadn't heard any walking around his house the night before, no knives or scissors being thrown, and that maybe, just maybe, it had finally let go of him. Watch.
Alright, so this is my second day up here at the cemetery. Now it is still early on, but I will say, after opening up the cemetery yesterday, when I got home last night, I did not notice any activity. I know it's only been a night, but I didn't hear any walking around my house last night. I didn't hear any walking on the basement stairs. Most importantly, no knives or scissors being thrown. So I am hoping and staying hopeful that whatever was attached when I closed the cemetery last year would have, oh shit. Oh shit. Okay. Hoping that whatever attached itself to me followed me back here and found peace and will stay here. I told it has no permission to follow me home ever again. Holy shit. This. Okay. This. This was over here. This was up here.
A bow saw crashes off its rack and lands in the middle of the concrete floor, loud enough to make him swear out loud, loud enough to stop him mid-sentence. He picks it up and hangs it back on the wooden rack where it had been stored, pointing to the exact spot it came from. His breathing throughout is audibly shaky. For those familiar with poltergeist cases, displaced objects are one of the most commonly documented forms of activity. Not subtle enough to explain away, but not violent enough to be immediately threatening, more like a signal, something acknowledging it's still there. What's harder to dismiss is the timing. He had just finished saying he hoped it had found peace and stayed behind. Then the saw hit the floor. The following day, he returns to the same garage at dusk, this time because something caught his eye on the way in. Watch.
Alright, so I'm just getting here at the cemetery, and as I was pulling in, parked over there, as I was pulling in, I saw this light flicker, and it looked like somebody was walking in front of the window, so I wanted to start recording as soon as I that's the window there. What the f is that? Holy shit. What the f is that? I could have swore I just heard something. Okay, so it was that window right there. And I mean, you can see there's a cement mixer in front of that. Tools. So yeah, it's not like you can just get back there and holy shit. I could have swore I heard somebody call my name or something as soon as I walked in. Holy fuck. Let's open this up. Yes, I'm here. Hello?
The moment he steps into the dark interior and identifies the window where he'd seen a light flicker, a clear, disembodied male whisper responds, something that sounds unmistakably like yeah, yeah, followed almost immediately by a second, lower, guttural sound. He reacts with audible panic. Later in the same clip, a loud shuffling erupts from off-camera, then a sharp bang as if something struck the metal door, and finally a distinct disembodied voice asks what sounds like a direct question, to which he responds out loud, "Yes, I'm here." What investigators would classify as EVP, electronic voice phenomena, typically refers to voices captured on recording that weren't audible to the person present at the time. What makes this harder to dismiss is that he heard it in real time and responded to it. Two separate voices, two separate moments, both apparently aware of him. And then there's the third visit. He arrives again at dawn, and before he can even finish explaining to the camera that nobody is inside the locked garage. This happens. Watch.
Alright guys, so I've just pulled in to the cemetery again, and second day in a row I saw what looked like just a head peeking through that window. Yesterday I saw the same thing, but I caught the lights flickering. So I want to show everybody there's nobody in here. I'm unlocking it. It was that window right there. But I'm going to shut the door, turn the light on. Nobody here. As always, it was that window right there. But as you can see, there's cement mixer over there, boards over there. Like it's not. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Ooh, that made me jump. Okay, so sledgehammer. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Good morning to you too. Glad you found your way back here. And like I told you, you're not allowed to follow me to my home. This is your home, or go wherever, just not with me. So
A sledgehammer appears on the floor beside the white refrigerator, a spot he had just filmed as empty. And then, while he's directly addressing the entity and telling it that it's not allowed to follow him home, a second sequence of crashes erupts, a metallic bang, then a violent, prolonged crashing and dragging sound from across the workshop, loud enough to overpower his voice entirely. He ends the clip with a heavy sigh and a single muttered word. 3 separate visits, 3 separate incidents. A saw, a whisper, a sledgehammer, and then something that sounded like it was dragging equipment across the floor. Whether this is a residual presence tied to the cemetery grounds or something far more aware, the pattern across these clips suggests it isn't passive. It responds. It reacts to what he says, and so far, telling it to stay behind doesn't seem to be working. The following set of clips comes from a stretch of time that feels less like a string of isolated incidents and more like something building toward a point. The same creeping wrongness showing up across different homes, different nights, and different people, all of them left with the same uneasy question. The first clip was recorded by a man named Kyle, who was already having what he described as a wild morning, and you can hear it in his voice from the very first second. Watch.
It's coming from the garage. Okay. Okay. Is anybody up there? I gotta move the car. And what is going on outside?
If you look closely, something moved in the attic, and some people who've watched this think the simultaneous opening of the ladders points to something deliberate. Not a mechanical failure, not a fluke, but something testing access points, finding its way between floors. Skeptics, of course, say both latches could have been faulty, that old attic hardware loosens over time, and both gave way on the same morning by coincidence. That explanation is harder to hold onto when you hear how rattled he sounds. That isn't someone who thinks he forgot to close something. The next clip shifts from the physical to the personal, and it's one of the more unsettling accounts in this whole set. Kyle films from his bed at night, looking across a dimly lit room toward his closet, recounting what happened the night before. Watch.
Oh, y'all old lady ghosts need to take your ass on somewhere. Quit scaring the shit out of people in the middle of the night. Woke up last night and there was an old lady standing right there at the corner of the bed staring at me. She was doing that old woman, like, titter, like, like that. Scared the shit out of me. Yeah, she laughed and said, "Won't be long. Won't be long." That's what she said. Sounded like a really country old lady. Won't be long. Won't be long what? I know it wasn't a dream either because my fiance asked me, "What are you staring at?" And I lied and said nothing because I didn't want to tell her there's some creepy ass lady standing at the end of the bed. And then when I woke up this morning, I asked her, "Hey, did you ask me that last night?" And she was like, "Yeah." Giggling ass old lady. Gray hair, white nightgown, just, liver spots on her arms, just creepy as shit. Nothing against old ladies either. Old ladies in general aren't creepy. Old ladies are only creepy when they're not supposed to be in your house and you open your freaking eyes and they're standing right there.
In paranormal traditions across multiple cultures, apparitions that deliver vague warnings, especially phrases tied to time, endings, or finality, are sometimes interpreted as harbingers, figures that appear specifically to deliver a message rather than to haunt a location. The specific phrasing, "won't be long," carries a weight that's hard to shake because it doesn't threaten. It just informs, and that alone is terrifying. The third clip takes things outside, onto a porch at night, where a man is watching something that clearly has him rattled. Listen closely.
I knew it wasn't crazy. What the This is insane. There it goes again. It's rocking by itself. There's no wind. I don't know if you can see. There's no wind. It just keeps doing it. There's no way. What the fuck, yo? This is crazy.
A white rocking chair on the porch moves back and forth on its own in the dark. Steady, rhythmic, the way it would move if someone were sitting in it and gently rocking. He pans the camera to show there's no wind disturbing anything else, and then, when he turns on a bright light, both chairs on the porch go completely still. His reaction when the light comes on is what stays with you. There's no way. Skeptics will point out that a rocking chair in low light is one of the easier effects to fake with invisible fishing line, and the chair stopping the moment the light turns on could mean someone off camera let go of the string. But for others, the immediate cessation fits a different theory, that whatever presence was there reacted to the light, retreating the moment it was exposed. Rocking chairs carry a heavy weight in Southern folklore specifically, often associated with the elderly and the recently deceased. And there's something about this clip, the isolation, the night sounds, the rhythm of that motion, that makes the skeptical explanation feel just slightly less satisfying than it should. It didn't stop there. The fourth and final clip comes from a home security camera. A Wise camera, black and white night vision, timestamp reading 11:14 p.m. on March 15th of 2024. No one is visible in the house. Watch. One of the high-back chairs at the kitchen island slowly and smoothly slides backward across the floor by itself, moving steadily away from the island until it stops several feet out, and in the corner of the frame, a small cat freezes mid-groom and turns to look directly at it. The cat's reaction is what a lot of viewers latched onto. Animals are often said to perceive things before humans do, and watching it stop and track the movement of that chair as though something invisible were sitting down gives the footage a layer that's difficult to rationalize away. Taken alone, any one of these clips has an explanation you could reach for. Together, they leave you with a pattern that's harder to dismiss. Things opening on their own, voices warning of something coming, objects moving in the dark while animals watch what you can't see. What exactly is building here? This next clip comes from a home where the security camera footage has been raising serious questions. A static night vision shot of what appears to be a room, completely empty, with a white wooden rocking chair positioned in front of a bed. No wind, no open windows, no one in the room. Watch. From the very first second, the rocking chair begins to move on its own, starting with a small, almost gentle sway before building into a full, forceful rock that sustains itself for the entire duration of the clip. And that alone is terrifying. What makes it harder to dismiss is how consistent and rhythmic the motion is. Not a single jolt or wobble that might suggest a draft or vibration, but a smooth, deliberate rocking, as if someone is sitting in it. Some viewers have tried to explain it through the idea of residual energy, suggesting that certain spaces can retain fragments of past activity that replay under the right conditions. But that explanation begins to weaken when you consider what else was captured around the same time. Because near the window, something else appears. A strange figure, faint but clearly moving, positioned just outside as if it is trying to look in, lingering long enough to suggest it is not simply passing by, but observing, watching the inside of the house with a kind of stillness that feels intentional. And that single detail shifts the situation from something passive to something aware. And then, on another night, the activity escalates beyond movement and observation into something far more direct. Something that does not just exist within the space, but attempts to interact with the people living in it. Watch.
Tranquila, mamá, tranquila. Ustedes tranquilos, ¿eh? Ustedes tranquilos. Ya, tranquilo, hijo, tranquilo. No mames, cabrón. Ya, hija, ya. Híjole.
No pasa nada.
¿Por qué no me abren?
Tranquila, corazoncito.
Me pasar al cuarto. Qué sorprendente, cabrón. Déjenme pasar al cuarto. A la máquina. No pasa nada. ¿Qué hacemos? No se ve nada en la cámara. Revisa la cámara, güey. Mi amor, ábreme.
¡A la madre! No manches. ¿Qué pedo?
Sí, güey. Voy a bajar a ver, güey. Voy a bajar a ver.
¿Vas a bajar?
Tranquilo, tranquilo, sí.
Para, con cuidado.
No mames, güey. No mames, cabrón. No mames. ¿Quién madre anda ahí? Uf. ¿Quién anda ahí? Ya te vi en la cámara. Mames, aquí está cerrado, señores. Aquí está cerrado, miren. Miren. La llave está acá. Y aquí también está cerrado. Oigan. No mames, está todo cerrado. ¿Es eso qué? ¿Qué hay de aquí? Tiene que salir.
Someone is at the door, calling out to them, using a voice that sounds familiar enough to make them pause, to listen, to question whether it could actually be someone they know. And that is where the entire situation becomes far more unsettling. This pattern aligns closely with what many describe as mimic behavior, where an entity does not immediately reveal itself, but instead listens, studies, and then reproduces voices it has heard, using that familiarity to draw attention, to create confusion, and in some cases, to lure someone into responding. Until more details are shared, this remains unsolved. The following clip was recorded inside Kyle's house, a place we've featured several times on this channel. For the past few weeks, things have been unusually quiet, but as many people familiar with paranormal cases will tell you, long quiet periods don't always mean the activity is gone. Sometimes they mean something is building up. One morning, Kyle woke up to the sound of voices coming from somewhere inside his house. Watch closely. At first, he did what most people would do. He searched the house room by room, trying to find a logical source. No TV was on, no phone, no neighbors, nothing that could explain what he was hearing. But when he reached the basement door, things became even more unsettling. Viewers who analyzed the clip claim they heard a young girl's voice whispering, "He's coming." But Kyle doesn't have any children, and no kids were anywhere near the house at the time. Several people urged Kyle not to respond verbally, especially not in the moment, a common warning when unexplained voices are heard, as acknowledging them is believed by some to strengthen the activity. For now, Kyle hasn't been able to explain what he heard that morning, just a voice that shouldn't have been there, and a house that, after weeks of silence, suddenly felt very. In this next video, a security guard shares more updates from his workplace, a place where strange figures have been showing up far too often to ignore. In earlier clips, he documented unexplained figures passing, and he thought it was going to be a one-off activity, but it happened again. One night during his shift, he noticed a white figure moving through the building once again. Instead of brushing it off, he decided to stand up and follow it, hoping to finally get a clearer look. Watch closely.
The storm is so bad that ghost had to go upstairs. Look at the bottom right. Look. There you go. Look at that. It was cold. I'm like, oh shit. I wanted to follow it and feel. See, I'm trying to feel, like, follow the cold breeze. I saw it going towards the elevator. So I went there. It was actually a cold breeze towards the elevator, then it just stopped. So I'm like, damn. Shit. So I walked back, thinking the motherfucker was gone. I guess it didn't want me to follow it. So I'm like, okay. Then something touched me. I'm like, what the? Something touched me. I'm still trying to see, like, where is it at? Like, it vanished, so how is it still touching me or something? I don't know. It's creepy. So I'm like, okay. Well, at least I saw it and followed it for a little moment. Then it went to vanish. I'm like, oh, yeah. I was like, go ahead and take your ass upstairs and get warm.
Aside from briefly touching him, there haven't been any violent attacks, scratches, or aggressive behavior. This led many to believe this could be a non-hostile or friendly spirit, possibly unaware of its surroundings or simply repeating a routine it once had in life. But it happened again. On another night shift, the guard spotted the same faint white figure again, only this time it came through the door. And as the figure moved closer, he described feeling a sudden cold breeze, even though the building's temperature hadn't changed. Have a look.
I saw that motherfucker again. Just look real close. Just look. It's coming from the door, from outside. See it? It's faint. It's real faint. I'm looking at it, I'm like, hold on, let me feel if it's real. It's cold too. When I put my hand up there by it, it's real cold. Then it went back there towards the door, all the way back there in the back. I'm like, whoa. I wanted to see it went close to me or some shit. I'm like, oh, so ghosts, because ghosts do give out like a cold chill, like when you put, like, it's like a cold breeze there. I'm like, okay. Shit, I saw it came from outside too. I'm like, damn. And I wasn't even freaked out. I just wanted to see how it felt. I was like, So that motherfucker cold in the mug. So I saw it. That shit is crazy, man. It's been a while since I've seen this, so like I said, it come every now and then, but you have to look real hard though, real hard to see it. It came from here and it went real slow. Just look real hard when you rewind the video.
In paranormal belief, sudden cold spots are often associated with spirits because it's said they draw energy from their surroundings to manifest or move. Many claim that when a temperature drops without explanation, it can signal a spirit passing through or attempting to interact. Despite multiple encounters, the figure has never spoken, it hasn't shown its face, and it hasn't revealed why it keeps appearing in the same workplace night after night. Until more updates are shared, this case remains unsolved. Now, this next video is about David, the man who bought a doll and almost immediately realized he'd made a serious mistake. At first, David believed the activity was tied directly to the doll, so he did what many advised. He locked it inside a cage and placed a Bible on top, hoping that would contain whatever presence was attached to it. But the activity in his house didn't stop. In fact, many viewers believe that while the doll may have acted as a trigger, whatever came with it may have already spread throughout the house long before it was locked away. One night, around 4 a.m., David woke up to get some work done, but as he finished and was about to head to bed, he began hearing something that immediately put him on edge. Listen closely.
Están escuchando, ¿no? Son pasos, esos son pasos. Y los estoy escuchando, ya van 2 veces que los escucho. Entonces la segunda vez dije, ok, termino de hacer la cama y empiezo a grabar. Ok, ya escucharon, ¿no? Bueno. Entonces, ¿por qué tengo la luz así? Porque me duermo con la luz de rojo, y ya está. Y para los que digan, esas cruces que no sé qué, son adornos, nada más. Entonces, y encendí la luz del celular, ¿ok? Porque ahorita todo está apagado. ¿Qué voy a hacer? Ahí se escucha. A ver.
It sounded unmistakably like footsteps, and David was completely alone. In the same video, David addresses something many commenters had been focusing on: the red lighting in his room and the crosses on the wall. He explains that the red light helps him sleep, and the crosses are simply decorative ornaments, not ritualistic, not symbolic. But viewers aren't convinced. Many argued that red lighting is often associated with heightened emotional states or altered perception, while others insisted that symbolic objects, even when decorative, can still act as spiritual triggers, especially in an already active environment. Trying to locate the source of the noise, David followed the sound, and it didn't surprise anyone when the footsteps led him straight to the room where the doll was locked. But what shocked viewers most wasn't the room. It was what appeared just before he reached it: a face, barely visible, peeking out from the darkness, watching him. That single moment escalated everything, because now there were 3 separate concerns: the doll locked in the cage, the red light, and the cross ornaments, and now a visible presence that wasn't hiding anymore. David shared that this wasn't the first time he heard footsteps. One night while he was home alone, he heard footsteps so convincing that he genuinely believed someone had broken into his house. Have a look.
Se escuchó que alguien venía así, tuc, 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 hacia mí. Y fue cuando cerré la puerta.
After that incident, viewers advised him to prepare for the next time it happened, specifically by using talcum powder, a method some believe can reveal unseen movement through footprints. So when it happened again, David knew exactly what to do. Watch this carefully.
talco para pies. No me importa usarlo todo. Bueno, amigas, bueno, amigos, así quedó. Ya está. No fue mucho lo que quedaba. Ya se vació esto. Voy a dejarlo así, qué sé yo, toda la tarde y toda la noche de mañana, a ver qué pasa. Es decir, en 24 horas reviso. Ya está. Antes de voy a encender la luz de esto. Todo eso está el talco, ¿ok? Sí se ve bien creepy, ¿no? Ah, cosa curiosa. El rosario de la Biblia ya no... A ver, así. Ya no encuentro el rosario de la Biblia. Y si se dan cuenta, la muñeca se volvió a mover.
As he pours the powder, something else happens. A voice can be heard. And for those familiar with David's story, this voice is disturbingly familiar. From the very beginning, David has described hearing a voice that sounds distressed, sometimes crying, sometimes calling his name, sometimes sounding like it's asking for forgiveness, as if whatever is there isn't just present, but suffering. Then, David noticed something else. The doll had changed position inside the cage, and the rosary he'd placed on top of the Bible was gone. At this point, even viewers couldn't agree on what was truly responsible. Some still blame the doll, others insist the house itself may already be haunted. A few believe it's the environment, the lighting, the symbols, the attention, feeding whatever is there. And then there's the face, because once something is watching you, it's no longer contained. So what do you think is causing all of this? The doll, the red light, the crosses, or the house itself? You be the judge. In the following video, a woman shares footage after more than 2 weeks of unsettling experiences, incidents that have slowly pushed her toward one frightening conclusion, that something may have attached itself to her. Watch this carefully.
I'm recording this to see if I can catch it on camera this time. But I'm home alone for the night and I swear I've been hearing noises. And usually this happens, but this time it's so... Please tell me that you can hear that.
To a lot of people, this might not be a classic attachment case. Attachments usually don't begin loudly, they start subtly. A constant feeling of being watched, sudden emotional shifts that don't feel like your own, exhaustion that doesn't improve with rest, recurring intrusive thoughts, vivid dreams involving the same presence, or a heavy sensation in the chest or shoulders, as if something is always nearby. So this might be something else, a mimic. Mimic cases often present differently. Instead of targeting emotions or energy first, mimics focus on imitation. They copy familiar voices, repeat phrases the person has heard before, and create situations designed to provoke a response. And that's where the most important rule comes in. The number one rule when dealing with a mimic is this: do not respond and do not acknowledge it in any way. No speaking back, no calling out, no asking questions, no reacting emotionally. Sometimes, while attachments tend to drain and linger quietly, mimics provoke, and once they're acknowledged, they rarely stop. Until more updates are shared, the situation remains deeply unsettling. Now, in this next video, a man is simply giving his friends and family a tour of his new apartment. Nothing unusual, just a quick walkthrough to show the space. But he captured something terrifying. Take a look. It wasn't until one of his friends decided to slow the video down and examine each room more carefully that something disturbing stood out. As he walks past one of the rooms, there appears to be a woman standing still, facing the window. She doesn't move and she didn't turn. The man insists he was completely alone while filming. No roommate, no visitor. Viewers quickly began analyzing the footage frame by frame. Some believe it could be a reflection or a trick of lighting, but others pointed out that the figure appears to have depth and form, standing in a spot where no mirror or reflective surface should be. The posture is also unsettlingly natural, like someone quietly observing the outside world. So, what do you do when your new apartment already has someone living rent-free in it? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one. This next video was captured by Nate, a man whose dog has been trying to warn him that something isn't right inside the house. One night, while Nate was home alone watching TV, this happened. Watch closely.
So I'm here watching football, and this light keeps going on and off. I was just up there going to the bathroom. Like, I checked the bulb, and the switch is right there. It just started doing this.
If it's just the lights turning on and off, some might say he's overreacting. Electrical issues happen, but when you factor in everything else that's already happened in this house, the situation becomes much harder to dismiss. We've heard whispers underneath several of Nate's past videos, faint, low, and not coming from the TV. There's also the clip where a knife was thrown across the room, even though no one was standing near it. And then there's his dog, who refuses to go into certain corners of the house, freezing in place, growling, or leaving the room altogether. And when multiple signs start stacking up, sound, movement, objects being thrown, and an animal clearly reacting, it begins to feel like something is escalating. For now, Nate hasn't been able to explain what's going on inside his home. So until more answers or updates surface, this one remains completely unsolved. Now in this next clip, popular Midwest ghost hunter Ian returns to what many locals consider the most haunted house in Minnesota, the infamous Boyd House. The home belonged to the Ehart family, Fred and Minnie, and was originally built back in 1901. As Ian entered one of the rooms, something immediately caught his attention. A light suddenly turned on by itself. At that moment, Ian knew he needed answers. Was this Fred, Minnie, or something else entirely? So he began asking questions.
Minnie, was that you that I heard earlier? Making all those noises? Turning on that closet light? Was that you? I feel it moving again. Thank you. I think they uncrossed. I hope you don't mind me visiting. It is a lovely place. You know, I keep coming back for a reason, right? What the heck was that? That sounded like a female voice, almost. It was like really faint. Minnie, is that you? There it is again. Okay. That is really, really spooky sounding. It sounds like a woman, like humming. Like,
Was that Minnie, the former owner many believe still wanders the house, known for moving objects and interacting with the environment? Or has something else found its way into the Boyd house, drawn in by years of attention and investigations? The following video captures something deeply unsettling that began with what seemed like a completely harmless decision. A family purchasing a decorative poster and hanging it on their wall, something meant to add personality to their home, not change the atmosphere of it entirely. At first, nothing seemed unusual, but gradually, small disturbances began to surface. Things slightly out of place, strange noises at odd hours, and an unshakable feeling that the house no longer felt as calm as it once did. What made the situation more concerning was when friends who came to visit immediately recognized the poster, not as something unique or artistic, but as something they had heard about before, linking it to multiple accounts from different people who claimed to have experienced similar disturbances shortly after bringing the same or similar image into their homes. According to these accounts, the poster wasn't just decoration, but something that seemed to carry an effect with it, almost as if it acted as a trigger or focal point for whatever began to happen afterward. Taking those warnings seriously, the family decided to remove the poster, hoping that whatever had started would end with it, assuming that if the object was the source, then getting rid of it would restore things back to normal. But it didn't. In fact, it got worse. Watch.
Yeah, just rinse it. I'll grab it in the...
Even after the poster was gone, the activity continued, suggesting that whatever had been set in motion didn't simply leave with the object, but remained within the space itself. What followed was a series of events that turned their home into a place they no longer felt safe staying in, with disturbances becoming frequent enough that leaving the house altogether began to feel like the only option. Now, they've stepped away from the home temporarily, planning to have it blessed and spiritually cleansed, hoping that whatever presence may have attached itself to the environment can be removed completely. But that decision opens up a much deeper question. Is blessing the house the solution? You be the judge. The following video is about a family whose nightmare begins the night they hear someone knocking on their door long after everyone has gone to bed. From that night forward, the situation changes because it no longer feels like a one-time event, but more like something has come to their home and is now determined to get in, returning again and again as if waiting for the right moment or the right response. Watch.
No sé si se escuche. Oigan como si estuvieran en la parte de enfrente. No mames. Son las 2 de la mañana. Uy, cabrón. Voy a buscar las llaves. No mames, está acá enfrente,
Uy. Okay, como... No mames. Ah, cabrón. No mames, cabrón.
Night after night, the knocking continues, never fully stopping, only varying in intensity, until one particular night when the situation escalates beyond sound alone, and they begin to hear a voice accompanying the knocks. Watch.
Tranquila, ¿Qué quieres?
Johnny, por favor, ábreme.
Oye, escuchas.
Sí, ábreme ya. Apúrate, ándale.
¿Qué quieres?
Johnny. Johnny, ábreme.
No te voy a abrir.
Ábreme.
No te voy a abrir.
Ábreme ya.
Calma la niña. Tranquila, mami.
Ándale.
No te voy a abrir. Vete.
Johnny.
Oye, no manches, ¿viste?
Ábreme.
Vete. Esto es impresionante. Lárgate, lárgate de aquí. No te voy a abrir, lárgate. Lárgate. Tú no perteneces aquí. Vete.
What makes that moment especially disturbing is that the voice sounds like his wife, familiar, recognizable, and close enough to create confusion, yet completely impossible because she is already inside the house. The knocking grows more aggressive, more demanding, as if whatever is outside is no longer testing, but insisting, trying to be acknowledged, trying to be let in. Weeks pass with this constant pattern, the lack of sleep, the tension, the uncertainty slowly building, until the man finally manages to capture something else on camera. Something that pushes the situation into an entirely different level of fear. Watch.
Ceci. 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 Hey. Mira. Oye. Oye. Mira, asómate por la ventana despacito, ¿eh?
¿Por la qué?
Asómate por la ventana despacito.
¿Por la ventana?
Sí. Mira. ¿Ya viste? ¿Ya viste?
Sí. No mames, güey. A la madre.
Y nos está viendo.
No mames.
Espérate.
Cierra.
No, espérame.
Papi, cierra.
No,
Se
espérame.
está viendo.
Sí. Mira.
A la madre. Se me empieza a sentir mal.
Tranquila, pero es que tranquila, o sea, mira.
Mira cómo nos está viendo.
No mames, ese es idéntico a ti.
Sí, ahora soy yo. No mames, pero mírala.
Y es que no se mueve, ¿eh?
No, y nos está viendo. Ya cierra.
Espérame, quiero ver qué hace. Espérame, guarda silencio. Que le vas a despertar a la niña.
Sí.
No, hombre, sí está bien cañón, güey. Está muy fuerte, ¿eh?
Sí.
escucharon golpes, ¿verdad?
Se escucharon golpes.
A su máquina. A tu mames. No mames.
What appears outside is not just a figure, but something that looks exactly like his wife, standing where she shouldn't be, a doppelganger that mirrors her appearance without explanation. In many accounts and belief systems, encounters with a doppelganger are not seen as harmless coincidences, but as warnings, signs of intrusion, or even entities attempting to imitate someone in order to gain trust or access. And, as if that wasn't enough, the situation begins to expand, because the family soon starts hearing voices that resemble their older daughter as well, voices that occur when she is nowhere near the source, suggesting that whatever is outside is not limited to a single form, but is capable of mimicking different members of the household. Although the knocking becomes less frequent over time, the tension never truly fades, and after installing security cameras in hopes of understanding what is happening, they capture something even more disturbing. Have a look.
Miren amigos, ya es bastante tarde. Vean, en el primer piso la cámara nos empezó a detectar movimiento. ¿Qué crees que se hace?
Mames, es otra vez esa cosa. ¿Ya viste a quién se parece ahora? Mira, y con la muñeca, güey. Mira,
Amigos, ya todos están dormidos, miren.
Sí, ya todos. Es por él que empezó a detectar, me desperté. Mira. La pena, no sé qué le hace. Oye.
Es como una niña, ¿será que está imitando a Cari?
Ajá, yo digo que sí.
Pero se le ve el rostro raro, ¿no?
Sí, no se ve bien, se ve como deforme. Mira, ¿ya viste?
La neta, amigos, estamos bastante sacados de onda. Está muy cañón todo esto. La verdad, estoy sorprendido. Vean, voy a tener que bajarse, sí.
No.
Sí.
Chris,
Dame la cámara.
¿te la doy?
Sí. Voy a ir con la cámara, chicos, para que... Aquí está mi hijo. Sí, tú tranquila. Chicos. No mames, güey. Mira, chicos. Por aquí vi que se metió. Pero no hay nadie. Ve. A las máquinas.
Before you ask. Yes, they eventually opened the door, and that decision changed everything. From that moment on, the activity was no longer confined to the outside. In this clip, they capture a figure sitting in the living room, appearing to be their older daughter, quietly playing with a doll on a chair, a scene that might seem normal at a glance, except for one critical detail. Their real daughter is asleep beside them in the room at that exact time. What started as knocking from the outside has turned into something that now exists within the home itself, moving from imitation to presence, from persistence to access, leaving the family in a situation where the line between who is real and what is not becomes increasingly difficult to trust, and until more updates are shared, what exactly they have let in remains something no one has been able to fully explain. This next video is about a woman who, by her own account, may have unknowingly allowed something into her home, not through anything dramatic or intentional, but through a moment that at the time felt insignificant, something as simple as responding to a strange sound outside late at night. Since then, she claims the atmosphere in her home has changed, not all at once, but gradually, in ways that became harder to ignore as the days went on. Watch.
So this is day 3 of the weird, strange occurrences at our house. Right now this light has been steadily blinking for about 20 minutes and maybe 10, and I just don't understand why. Okay, now it's like not blinking at all. I guess it's okay now. But that and the hearing the voices and stuff sometimes, and hello? 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 Who's here? Who's here? Okay, I'm kind of freaked out. Going back inside the house. See what I mean though? This is the stuff I'm talking about. Like, why is this stuff happening? I'm really thinking about moving away. I think that we should move away. Oh my God! Did you see that? Oh my God. Oh my God.
After briefly going outside and finding nothing, she returns, only to walk into something far more unsettling, a chair inside her home moving on its own. Moments later, the situation escalates again as the door suddenly opens by itself, wide enough to remove any doubt that something has interacted with it. In many interpretations, moments like the one she described earlier, opening a door, responding to an unknown sound, or acknowledging something unseen, are often considered points of access, small actions that may unintentionally allow something to cross from outside into a space that was previously undisturbed. Whether or not that belief holds any truth, the pattern in this case raises questions, because everything seems to begin from that moment, and everything that follows builds on it. Now this next video presents a deeply unsettling example of how far things can escalate when unexplained activity is left to continue over a long period without being addressed, especially when whatever is present begins to shift from affecting the environment to affecting the person living in it. The man in this video, Jorge, explains that for quite some time he's been dealing with recurring shadow figures and a series of disturbing events that initially seemed external. Things moving, shapes appearing briefly, and the constant feeling that he was not alone in his own space. However, over time, the situation began to change in a way that was far more personal, as he started experiencing a level of exhaustion that didn't match his routine, describing a kind of fatigue that didn't go away with rest, as though something was gradually draining his energy rather than him simply being tired. That shift from environmental disturbances to physical impact is often what makes cases like this more concerning, because it suggests a deeper level of interaction. Then, something terrifying happens. Watch. What is seen in the footage has led many viewers to describe the moment as a form of possession, where the individual is no longer fully in control of their own actions, but instead being influenced or overtaken by something else. According to Jorge, he has no memory of what occurs during these episodes and relies entirely on recordings from his security cameras to understand what happened, which adds another layer of fear, because it means there are moments in his own home that he cannot account for or recall. He has been advised by others to avoid being alone, to have someone present in case another episode occurs, but that suggestion comes with its own risk, as he himself questions whether it is safe to involve another person, not knowing what he might be capable of doing if he loses control again. That uncertainty creates a situation where isolation feels dangerous, but company may be just as risky. In an attempt to protect himself, he has tried several methods commonly associated with spiritual protection, placing salt around his bed, along windows and doorways, and using holy water in an effort to cleanse the space. Actions that in many belief systems are thought to create boundaries or reduce negative influence. For now, his only hope is that this works. In the following video, a man named Moses shares an experience that began as an ordinary family moment. One of those small, everyday decisions that seemed completely harmless at the time, when he and his family were heading home one evening and his daughter asked if they could stop by a small playground nearby, just for a few minutes before calling it a night. Although he was initially reluctant, seeing it as a minor delay, he eventually agreed, not expecting anything beyond a quick stop for her to play and burn off some energy. But as the minutes passed, they noticed someone positioned behind a tree, appearing and disappearing in a way that felt intentional, watching them at intervals rather than simply passing by. The behavior was enough to make them uncomfortable, and without waiting to understand more, they decided to leave immediately. However, the experience stayed with them, and instead of dismissing it, they returned on another day, this time without their daughter, approaching the situation more cautiously, keeping their distance and relying on their camera's zoom to observe the area without getting too close. Watch.
Ay, pues se prendió. Pero miren, chequen nomás. Estamos solos, no hay nadie aquí en la presa. Aquí vinimos de nuevo para checar otra vez lo del mentado árbol que habíamos, de susodicho árbol. No, pero pues la neta, esta vez la verdad no quisimos bajar, ni quisimos, miren, aquí estamos yo y mi esposa, y por la neta esta vez no quisimos bajar, por precaución, porque no sabemos qué es lo que puede haber ahí. Entonces mejor nos quedamos aquí, pero ahí se mira donde está solo. Miren, ahí están los juegos, donde está nada prácticamente. Ay, no mames. Mira. No me jodas. Ay, nomás chequen ustedes, miren. No, vámonos mejor. Vámonos. No, esto no está bien. Vámonos. Aquí definitivamente sí hay algo. Ay, nomás chequen, juzguen ustedes. Y mira, y nomás ese aparato es el que está. Nomás ese aparato es el que se está moviendo. No, sí está cañón. Vámonos mejor. No, vámonos ya. Bueno, nos vemos. Aquí ya mejor ya. Hay que dejarlos a gusto a los fantasmitas que estén haciendo ejercicio. Bueno, vámonos mejor. No está. Vámonos. Bye.
After sharing their initial experience, several people who recognized the playground came forward with their own accounts, describing similar moments where they thought they saw movement, only for it to disappear too quickly to confirm, leaving behind uncertainty and doubt. When multiple people begin describing the same kind of movement in the same location, always quick, always just out of reach of certainty, it leaves behind a question that is difficult to settle, whether what they encountered was simply a misunderstanding of shadows and distance, or something that remains in that playground, revealing itself only in moments where it knows it won't be fully seen. The following clip was recorded by a group of explorers who decided to enter an abandoned building surrounded by disturbing rumors. Locals claim that people go in and come out completely shaken, some reporting sudden dizziness, intense pressure in their chest, difficulty breathing, and an overwhelming feeling that they weren't welcome there. Others say electronics malfunction, footsteps echo through empty hallways, and objects seem to move on their own. The explorers went in hoping to communicate with whatever might be causing these experiences, but instead of answers, they encountered something that seemed to confirm every story they'd heard. Watch this.
Görüntü gidiyor, var bir şey. Var bir şey var. Görüntü gidiyor. Tamam, böyle dikkat. Bismillah. Biliyorum bir şey var orada. Kafamıza gelecekti Allah aşkına. Dokundu.
At one point, an axe suddenly fell, narrowly missing them. They were incredibly lucky it didn't land on anyone. Incidents like this raise unsettling questions about the kind of presence that could exist in places like this. Some theories suggest these spirits lash out when they feel threatened, disturbed, or when their space is invaded, especially in places tied to trauma, violence, or abandonment. Whatever was inside that building didn't seem interested in communicating, it seemed angry, and that makes this encounter far more dangerous than a typical paranormal investigation. Now, in this next clip, a family has been hearing strange noises coming from their basement. At first, they didn't think much of it since the sounds were faint, irregular, and easy to dismiss, the kind of thing you blame on the house settling or your imagination filling in the gaps. But over the next few weeks, everything changed. The noises started happening more often, they grew louder, and eventually impossible to ignore. Then, one night, while the family was asleep, a sudden, heavy noise from the basement jolted them awake. Instead of staying put, the husband decided to move closer to investigate, and that decision alone sent chills through viewers. Watch closely.
Hello? Oh my God!
After the footage surfaced, opinions were split. Some viewers insist it has to be an animal, something trapped or moving around below. But others aren't convinced. They point out that the footsteps sound human. So if it isn't an animal and it isn't just the house settling, then whatever made that noise was already inside the home, waiting in the darkest part of it. But I'll leave you to be the judge of this one. On the 14th of February, 2014, a man walks into a shop like any other day. Nothing about the moment seems unusual, but what no one inside the store realizes is that something else was inside the shop. Watch closely.
Look right here. Look right here. Right here. Look. Look, watch. What is that? What is that? And it's just gone, bruh. Look at this. It's there, and now it's not. It's there, and now it's not, bruh. What is that? Bruh. What is that? What is that? And then it's just gone.
The strange figure appears and disappears in a blink, so fast that the man didn't even sense that something was there. If it wasn't for the security camera, this moment would have passed unnoticed forever. Incidents like this raise an unsettling thought. How many things move through our world without us ever knowing? How many figures slip in and out of reality just beyond our perception? Too quick, too subtle, or too unexpected for the human mind to register? And even when footage like this does surface, many people still refuse to believe it. Some call it a glitch, others say it's a shadow, a reflection, or a trick of the camera. So what do you think? Was this an anomaly or a rare glimpse into something that's always around us, quietly passing through, unseen? In this next video, a woman captured a terrifying figure inside her own home. According to her, it's late at night, and she's replaying voice messages on her phone when an overwhelming feeling hits her, the unmistakable sense that someone is staring at her, not just a thought, not imagination, that deep instinctive awareness you get when eyes are fixed on you. Trusting that feeling, she lifts her phone toward the doorway. This is what she captures. A dark figure appears, peeking from behind the door, its shape just clear enough to suggest a face watching her. What makes this even more unsettling is that this wasn't the first warning sign. Before this moment, she says she'd been experiencing subtle things around the house. Doors left slightly open when she was sure she closed them, the sound of quiet movement at night, and that recurring sensation of being watched when no one else was home. Small things she brushed off at first. Until this. Many people say humans are wired to sense when they're being observed, even without seeing it. And moments like this make you wonder how often that instinct is right. Until she shares more updates, whatever was standing in that doorway and why it was watching her remains completely unsolved. Now, in this next clip, a couple shares footage from what was supposed to be a simple cave exploration somewhere in the UK. Nothing paranormal, no ghost hunting, just curiosity and a camera rolling. But like many explorers later admit, the strangest moments aren't always noticed in real time. They're discovered after, while reviewing the footage. Watch and listen closely.
I don't blame them. Imagine how many people you can fit in here.
Because you got here, look.
How am I going to fit through there? What? Seen all the spiders?
Yeah, have you seen them?
During the exploration, his partner becomes overwhelmed by spiders and quickly exits the cave, clearly shaken. He laughs it off at first, still filming, thinking the danger is gone, but seconds later, his mood changes. He suddenly freezes, then jumps back, reacting to the feeling that something is moving toward him from deeper inside the cave. At the time, he didn't hear anything clearly. It's only after rewatching the footage that they notice the sound at the very end of the video. Some viewers suggest it could have been an animal, even comparing it to a bear-like snarl, possibly disturbed by their presence. But others point out that caves are isolated, ancient, largely untouched, and act as natural amplifiers for phenomena we don't fully understand. In this next video, a family is together, laughing, catching up, and enjoying a quiet moment until something happens. Watch closely. Out of nowhere, the table shifts and the reaction is instant. Everyone runs. Some viewers believe this could be a prank, suggesting someone nearby might have been under the table or pulled the table. But according to locals, this area already has a reputation. Families in the vicinity have complained for years about objects moving on their own, furniture shifting slightly when no one is touching it, and sudden disturbances that happen without warning. That's what makes this moment harder to brush off. When objects move in shared spaces like this, especially during calm moments, Many believe it's often the first sign something is trying to make itself known. Whether this was human interference or something far more unsettling, one thing is clear. The moment whatever happened made itself known, no one wanted to stay around long enough to find out what caused it. So what do you think happened here? Speaking of objects moving, the family in this next clip has been struggling with something they can't seem to explain. They'll leave items in one place, chairs pushed under the table, doors fully shut, small objects carefully set down, only to come back later and find everything shifted, rearranged, or completely out of place. At first, they brushed it off as forgetfulness, thinking maybe someone else moved it, or they just remembered wrong, but the patterns kept repeating. Eventually, they decided to document everything. What you're about to see is a compilation of the activity they managed to catch on camera. Watch closely.
Se movió la silla. ¿Real? Sí. Tipo, es de arquitecta. De las flores.
To some viewers, this points to something trying to interact with the physical space, poltergeist-like behavior that focuses more on movement than appearances. Others believe it could be something residual, replaying energy over and over in the same areas of the house. They've been advised to send the footage to a priest, but until that happens, speculation continues. But what do you think? Is something attached to the house, or something dangerous followed them home? I'd love to know what you think about this kind of activity. Now, in this next clip, popular Midwest ghost hunter Ian continues his investigation inside the historic Mabel Tainter Memorial Theater. This time, he heads back up to the top floor, returning to the main theater area to quietly film and listen for anything out of place. Watch closely.
It's like there's somebody up there. What the hell was that? Oh, shh. Oh my god, guys, it literally sounds like she's coming down these stairs. I smell perfume. What the heck? I smell perfume. And it's starting to feel colder in here, too. Ma'am, you don't have to be shy. Feel free to come down and talk to me. Madam, what's your name? Oh my God! I heard that! That was a lady's voice! Thank you, ma'am. I heard you loud and clear.
As Ian stands alone in the creepy space, he suddenly notices a strong perfume smell beginning to fill the air. What's unsettling is that the scent doesn't fade. It grows stronger, almost as if someone is moving closer to him. Paranormal investigators often associate sudden smells, especially perfume, with spirit presence, particularly when there's no logical source nearby. Moments later, this happened.
Here. Hello? Oh, holy shit! Oh my God! Dude! I just fucking saw her right there! It looked like a woman in a dress. She walked into the hallway. I gotta follow her. She went down this way. Oh my God. Every hair on my body is standing on end. Where'd you go? I saw you go this way. I feel like I heard her say Mabel. It sounded like an M. Now that I think about it, that voice from earlier, it sounded like Mabel. I'm smelling that perfume smell again. Holy shit! Holy shit! No freaking way! Look at that! That thing just came undone!
This is where things take an even stranger turn. Ian believes he may have caught sight of a figure, possibly the infamous woman in white, briefly peeking out from behind the curtain. The combination of the intensifying perfume and the movement near the stage is enough to raise serious questions about what or who might still be lingering inside the theater. So what do you think? Lingering energy, a known spirit, or something else entirely? For more haunting videos including Ian, subscribe to the channel now. The following clip is about a couple, Jeff and Lauren Lowe, animal lovers and parents to their young daughter, Sarah. For a while now, this family has been dealing with a series of disturbing and unexplained events inside their home. Their cats have been caught hissing at empty corners. There's often the unmistakable feeling that someone else is in the room when no one is there. And even more unsettling, their daughter has complained about hearing someone whisper her name when she's alone. They've also reported tapping sounds when no one else is home, along with sudden, violent rattling of doors that seems to come out of nowhere. These incidents have become frequent enough that the family no longer sees them as isolated events. One day, after returning home, something immediately caught Lauren's attention. Watch.
Oh my gosh, no way. Stop the car. Hold on, stop. Check this out. Guys, we just got home. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Look. It's seriously doing it again. We just got home. And you guys are right. There are no other bushes beneath any of the other ones. And I did fix the chain. And it's still doing this. So I have no idea if it has anything to do with the bush. I don't know about you guys, but I am not touching it. I'm not disturbing it. If it is a spirit playing with it. I mean, look at it. And none of the other ones are going. So it's really strange how it's the only one going. And yeah, it is the only one with a bush under it. So it's interesting.
Could whatever they've been experiencing be connected to that bush? Some viewers believe the bush can act as a conduit, a place where energy gathers or something unseen anchors itself. Others suggest animals or even spirits may use it as cover, moving through it without being seen. A few have gone as far as to say the bush may need to be removed entirely, claiming it could be masking whatever is trying to interact with the house. But until Lauren decides to clear the bush, this strange activity remains unsolved. This next clip comes from a woman you might recognize from previous videos, the same one who bought a Chevy truck that her dog Titus refused to go near. At the time, people brushed it off as a strange quirk. Titus would grunt, sniff the air, and completely refuse to enter the vehicle, no matter how much encouragement he got. Now, he's acting strange again, but this time it's not the truck. It's something inside the house. Watch.
What is that about? What? What's wrong? Anything? Titus, what is that?
Titus is visibly uneasy in the living room, focusing on one specific area as if something invisible has his attention. Some viewers suggested installing a carbon monoxide detector, thinking the dog might be sensing something coming from the fireplace. Others blamed mice, but according to the woman, whenever there's a mouse in the house, the cat immediately goes into hunting mode. This time, the cat wasn't acting like prey was nearby. Friends have advised her to contact a pet psychic, and she says that's her next step. Until then, she's continued documenting Titus's behavior, trying to catch a pattern. But things got more disturbing when the cat too started acting strange. Watch this.
You want to hear? James. Why do you want to hear it? Ready? Hey. Jangles. Okay, here we go. Okay, go on. Hi.
After repeatedly trying to head into the garage, the cat suddenly freezes, backing away as if something is blocking the entrance. And when Titus joined them and started acting in his usual strange manner, she became convinced that something's in the garage. Garages are often described as transitional spaces, places between inside and outside. And in paranormal cases, they're frequently linked to unexplained noises, shadow movement, and animal reactions. Some believe they act as entry points, while others say residual energy can linger there unnoticed. So is there really something in her garage that only her pets can sense? Or is there an explanation everyone is missing? You decide. Now in this next video, a woman named Simone has been living what can only be described as a waking nightmare. What makes her situation especially disturbing is that whatever is in her house can now open doors on its own. In many paranormal cases, this is considered a major turning point, an escalation that often leads to constant oppression, severe sleep deprivation, emotional breakdowns, and in some reports, even physical harm if nothing is done. Sadly, Simone says that's exactly what she's been experiencing. Watch.
Do you guys hear that noise? It's been like this all night. I can't make it stop. And when I get up and check the door, there's no one there. Oh my God. I'm terrified. Go away. Go away. I don't want to make it stop. I don't want to make them go away.
Eventually, she works up the courage to open the door, only to find that no one is there. Many believe this is a bad sign because opening doors to unexplained knocking, especially at odd hours, is thought to be a form of acknowledgement. In folklore and paranormal belief, responding to these knocks is believed to grant whatever is present permission to move closer, cross boundaries, or increase its activity. And after that moment, things did escalate. One day, while Simone was home alone, she started hearing voices. Listen carefully.
Do you guys hear that? No one is home. My sister left for the whole weekend. Who is that? Who is that in my house?
For those who doubt that mimics exist, this is where the story becomes even more unsettling. Simone says the voices sounded exactly like people she knows, loved ones who were nowhere near her at the time. Mimic entities are often described as using familiar voices to create trust, lower defenses, or lure people into responding. Just days after this clip, things got more intense. Whatever had been tormenting Simone inside her home no longer stayed confined there. It began following her outside. Watch this.
I was walking back to my car in the parking garage, and I keep hearing my name. It's coming from the stairs, but I don't see anyone on the stairs. I've been up and down these stairs, and I don't see anyone. I've just been staying inside. I can't trust anything anymore.
At times, it sounds as if someone is directly behind her, or suddenly in front of her. The constant presence has left her terrified to even step outside, unsure of where it might appear next. Many later connected these events back to her very first video, saying the shadowy figure she captured in the woods may have followed her home. Because of this, she's been warned not to acknowledge it, not to speak to it, react to it, or engage in any way. According to those familiar with attachment cases, acknowledgement is believed to strengthen these entities, feeding them attention and allowing them to tighten their hold. Whatever is happening to Simone, it's no longer limited to one place, and that's what makes this case so unsettling. In this next video, a woman becomes convinced that something isn't right in her attic. And here's why. Watch closely.
So I have this little room up in my attic, and I want to show you guys what I found in here. But first, look at this. I've been up here 2 times. I've lived in this house for 3 years, and I've been here. This will be my 2nd time. And I started doing some picking up, but that's my house down there. And this is, so if you close the door, look how tiny it is. But look at the doorknob. It's literally a foot away from the ground. Look at that. Isn't that weird? Okay, so anyways, let me just open that up real quick. I found this little guy up here. He has like a little thing to put batteries, which I'm going to try and see if it works. That'll be so cool, but it's so old and dusty. And I found him back here in this hole. I covered it back up because it's a little scary, but it's full of things. Oh, what? What was that?
The first thing people notice is the hole. Where does it actually go? And more importantly, what just moved? She can't explain it, so she goes back later to take clear photos of the opening, hoping to get a better look at what's inside. This time, nothing seems out of place. No movement, no shadows, just silence. But in her next video, she films the inside of her home to clear up questions viewers kept asking, especially about the furniture stored in the attic. There's no possible way those items could fit through the small opening that leads up there. Watch carefully.
You can't really see what was seen on the previous video. Plus, I was by myself. There was nobody in here. There was nobody walking around. This is the closet. And then there's one more. Let me show you guys. This is another room. Again, no holes in the ceilings. Another vent, but no like visible holes that you could see through. And then the closet, no holes. But there is a weird little door again. I don't know what's up with the weird little doors. That one's sealed. You can't open it. It's sealed. Let's go upstairs. We're up here already, and I got to the room, and I want to show you guys. I cleaned up a little bit, but to answer some of your questions, someone asked, what does this window lead to right next to the door? And I don't know. It's sealed, and there's like, yeah, it's just covered with siding. And then how did the furniture get up here? I'm assuming somebody built this up here. However, I don't know how this chair got up here. It's pretty big. I'm assuming right before they built the room, maybe they put it up here. I don't know. And then for the hole, there, as you can see, there's electricity. Oh, something else. These cables, these were all plugged in, and they go this way. Let me grab this light so I can show you guys. But let me go here. 1 second, because oh god. So the wires go all the way in here, and they're connected to something that just, there's more trash on this side of the house. See? Oh shit, there's a big ass one. Okay, so that's that side, right? The left side. But the right side, let's go take a look at the right side real quick. It's so hot in here. Oh boy. Okay, so there's no mirrors. I know you guys were saying, oh, there's a mirror. There's no mirror, no holes. Just trash. Like, I don't know.
Some people suggest the unthinkable, that someone could be living up there without her knowledge. Others mention something far more disturbing, a disappointment room. A disappointment room is believed to be a hidden space in older homes where families once confined relatives who were physically or mentally disabled, often kept out of sight and spoken about in shame. Paranormal researchers believe locations tied to isolation, neglect, or suffering can retain emotional imprints, sometimes manifesting as unexplained movement, sounds, or the feeling of being watched. Not long after these theories surfaced, she began noticing things that seemed to support the idea that the attic once served a darker purpose. Watch this.
I was gonna just update you guys once I was finished, but I wanted to show you while I was grabbing my vacuum from downstairs, I noticed this little latch, and I know a lot of you guys in the comments were saying that this might have been a disappointment room, and I'm slowly starting to believe that it might have been. There's also the electrical outlet, or the little on and off switch for the electricity. For all the lights that are in here are powered on from the outside, as well as I think that they might have locked the door from the outside using this little thing with a lock. So yeah, it's a little sad actually.
Now, many have urged her to place a camera up there, especially since some still believe a living person could be accessing the space in secret. Others are convinced whatever remains up there isn't human at all. But what do you think? A hidden room with a disturbing past? Or someone living where they shouldn't be? I'll leave you to be the judge of this one. Now, in this next clip, popular Midwest ghost hunter Ian continues his solo investigation at the infamous Squirrel Cage Jail, officially known as the Pottawatomie County Jail in Iowa. And this isn't just any abandoned jail. Built back in 1885, the structure is infamous for its rotating cage design, a mechanism that was meant to move inmates from cell to cell, but often jammed, trapping prisoners inside for hours, sometimes even days, completely helpless. This time, Ian makes his way towards solitary confinement, one of the most feared areas of the jail. But before he even reaches it, something stops him in his tracks. Watch closely.
This is where you'd go if you were acting a fool. Oh my gosh, look how creepy that looks. What the heck? I thought I heard something down there. Hello? Anyone down there? Let's go on a little further. Oh, it's tight. This is just the hallway leading up to it. Hello? There it is. You see that? Damn, that looks terrifying. Is there somebody back here? Look how small that is. That is literally your cell in solitary. You can't even sit in there. You'd have to stand. And to think that they would keep you in there for hours to even days. I mean, just imagine trying to sleep in a place like this.
To see if whatever was there could interact, Ian pulls out his K2 meter and places it carefully on the cell door, asking simple questions and waiting for a response. Watch what happens next.
If there's somebody in this cell, could you touch that green light? You just did it. Okay. Thank you. Could you touch it one more time? Holy crap. Okay, there's somebody in here. How did you end up in solitary? Did you fight somebody? Yes. Oh, guys, I'm getting goosebumps right now. I'm getting really creepy feelings. Is it okay that I'm back here? Do you not like me over here? Oh, no way, guys. He wants me gone. If you want me gone, I dare you to try to scare me out of here. Holy shit!
Without warning, the K2 is knocked off the door, hitting the ground hard. Ian hadn't touched it, there was no airflow, no vibration, and the device wasn't balanced in a way that it could simply fall on its own. To many investigators, physical interaction like this is considered a major escalation, a sign that whatever is present isn't just passing through, it's reacting. Also, solitary confinement in old jails is often linked to intense emotional energy, isolation, fear, anger, and some believe spirits tied to those spaces are far more aggressive when disturbed. After what Ian experienced, it's hard not to wonder, was this a warning or something daring him to stay? This jail has seen years of isolation, panic, and desperation. Men locked inside a metal cage that could stop turning at any moment, left in darkness, unable to move, scream, or escape. Some believe that kind of suffering doesn't fade, it imprints. And when someone walks those halls alone, asking questions, turning on equipment, it may be enough to wake something that never truly left. For more haunting videos including Ian, subscribe to the channel now. The following video was captured by a group of ghost hunters who decided to explore an abandoned house after several reports suggested something dark was attached to the property. From the moment they stepped inside, they described the atmosphere as heavy, tense, and almost hostile. The kind of place where silence doesn't feel empty, but watchful. Believing the presence to be malevolent, they began praying, hoping to protect themselves and possibly force whatever was there to reveal itself. But according to many paranormal beliefs, prayer doesn't always bring peace. Some say it agitates negative entities, almost like shining a light on something that wants to stay hidden. Watch what happens next.
Bun.
Ești sigur?
Da. Hai, uite acum zic. Ia. Cred în bunul Dumnezeu Tatăl al Toțitorul, Făcătorul cerului și al pământului.
Oprește-te, oprește! Băi, Alin, uite alea cum fac bilile toate trei.
Știu unde am rămas.
Ea nu va pleca.
Da, știu când va pleca. Tatăl al Toțitorului, Făcătorul cerului și al pământului, care pretutindeni ești și pe toate le împlinești, vistierul bunătăților și dătătorule de viață, vino și ne slăzășluiește întru noi și ne cu toată închinăciunea. Băi, nebunilor, băi!
Fai de capul meu! Nu mai zi, măi, te rog eu!
Ce s-o sparg? Nu s-o sparg nimic. Cum să spargă ceva?
Frate, nimic nu.
Doamne ferește. Dar ce să spargă?
Hai de capul meu!
Dar nu se vede.
Mi-e frică, nu mai fă, frate, că murim!
Păi da, bine că s-o auzit spart, dar nu-i spart nimic. Deci vă asigur eu că nu-i spart nimic. Ce să fie spart?
Viewers believe this reaction suggests the presence felt threatened, not comforted by the prayers. Others argue that prayer can act as a form of confrontation, drawing attention from entities that feed on fear or resistance. Whatever the case, the timing is hard to ignore, but until we get more updates about this house, this remains unsolved. Now, in the following videos, a man and his family are convinced they're living with a ghost. In fact, they've gone as far as giving it a name, Ghost Malone, a playful nod to Post Malone, because according to them, the presence feels calm, relaxed, and non-threatening. They say things move around their house almost every night, especially toys, but insist it has never tried to hurt them. Still, many viewers can't help but ask the same question. How long does a spirit stay harmless? Take a look at what a typical night in their home looks like.
It's 3:30 in the morning. I swear on my life. For freaking toy cars. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. No. No, sir, no, ma'am. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know whether to wake Elizabeth or... Somebody call Justin Nunley. Or an exorcist, I mean, I'm not scared, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't shaking. So I'm just gonna leave it there till the morning for Elizabeth to come play with it. And it's not electronical, y'all. There's no damn motor in that thing. I feel so weird and out of place right now. I don't know if it's still there. To be truthful, I'm thinking about just leaving Elizabeth in Revelation and going somewhere for the night. I don't know what to do. Let's check on her. You still there? Pirates of the Caribbean's getting good. I'm not scared. I'm just kind of freaked out because, like, it's friendly. Hasn't thrown it.
What immediately stands out is the toy car. It has no batteries, no electrical components, and yet it moves on its own. Some viewers tried to brush it off as coincidence, uneven flooring, or leftover momentum. But those explanations quickly fall apart when you realize this isn't a one-time event. And it's not just one toy. Similar things have happened repeatedly, and after seeing this clip, many people weren't convinced that whatever was in the house was truly harmless. Some believe genuinely good spirits are rare, and when they do exist, they don't usually interact directly with the living. Concerned viewers suggested the father try certain cleansing methods to see how the presence would react, a way to test whether the entity was truly peaceful or simply pretending. So the next morning, he followed some of those suggestions. Watch what happened.
I actually fell asleep, and this is what I woke up to. Elizabeth. Baby. Hey. Okay, no, for real, like, so what are we doing? Oh. Okay. Are you... Somebody said salt. Hold on.
I don't know if you're supposed to draw a circle around it.
Well, it's a half circle, but I don't think you're supposed to do anything else. I don't know. Y'all got suggestions, let me know.
Instead of focusing on the fact that the holy water, salt, and prayers didn't seem to drive anything away, viewers noticed something far more disturbing. If you look closely at the doorway, you can see what appears to be a small, childlike figure standing completely still. That single detail sent chills through the comment section, but that raised another unsettling question. Why did the cleansing attempt seem to have little to no effect? Well, things escalated beyond toys. Watch this.
Are you there? Yeah, I thought so. Okay. Well, that's one of the things that I've discovered.
Whenever the house goes quiet, all he has to do is ask, "Are you there?" And something moves in response. At that point, many viewers said it could no longer be coincidence. But what troubled people even more was the interaction itself. A lot of paranormal believers warn that acknowledging a spirit gives it energy. Others say responding invites it closer, strengthens its presence, or even allows attachment. Despite all of that, the family continues living as normal, still convinced it isn't dangerous. One night, they didn't only check if it was there, they tried to communicate with it. Watch closely.
So we are all sitting here, enjoying our Taco Bell, right? And Ghost Malone was over there shaking the door a second ago. Ghost Malone, if you are still around, do something.
Give us a sign.
Oh, okay. Okay. Nonchalant. Alright, so ironically, I'm watching Ghostbusters, right? Ghost Malone, Ghosty. Yo. Are you kidding? Alright, so I've been asking Ghost Malone some questions. Okay, so 1 time if you're there, 2 times, or I guess no times if you're not. Definitely there, okay. Are you friendly? Okay, okay. Do you like Ghostbusters? No? Okay, do you like movies? Okay, Okay. Alright, just on Ghostbusters, I guess it's insulting. Are you here to cause harm? Okay. Okay. Man, I wish I knew Morse code. We'd try that. Are you an older spirit? Okay, but not a bad spirit. Okay. Is there more than one of you? Okay.
Many believe dark entities don't reveal their true nature immediately. Instead, they appear calm, friendly, even playful, a tactic often compared to the Annabelle doll, which was first believed to be harmless before far darker activity followed. Because of this, viewers are increasingly convinced that whatever this entity is, it may be growing stronger, not kinder. People urge the family to stop interacting, cleanse the home thoroughly, and protect themselves before things escalated further. But none of the things happening bothers them. Take a look.
So, a couple weird things have happened tonight. Like my mom's painting over there has moved. Ghosty. Ghost Malone. You there? Don't judge the trash. It's trash day. Ghosty. Okay. Maxie, what was that? Huh? So we're sitting here. Revelation here, is it?
Hi, Maxie.
It should also be noted that we've had several offers from paranormal people to come here and whatnot. We're down, but there's been a few of them that are private profiles, minus the big ones you guys have suggested. Nobody's reached out, but I don't know. I might take offers for people to just come stay the night so you can see whether it's real or not for yourself. I don't know. But yeah, I am gonna take a list of questions. I've been writing down in the comments all the questions you guys have for Ghost Malone. And then we're going to do the Stranger Things light or dog button things to see if that does anything.
This time, even the dog reacts. As the playpen moves, the dog retreats into its cage, a response many believe animals only show when they sense something threatening. According to viewers, a presence strong enough to move objects, frighten a dog, and respond intelligently isn't something to take lightly. Some believe this entity was never harmless, just patient. But until the family shares more updates, all anyone can do is hope the situation doesn't turn dangerous. Now, in this next video, a guy who goes by the username Mosh moved to Appalachia, and according to him, he hasn't had a single peaceful moment since. Appalachia is one of those places people constantly warn you about. Dense forests, winding back roads, long stretches with no cell service, and generations of folklore that all seem to agree on one thing. If something calls out to you out there, you don't answer. Many believe the land itself holds onto things that don't like being disturbed. Mosh has been documenting his experiences both inside his home and outside, and in several of his earlier videos, paranormal investigators and longtime viewers suggested he might be dealing with what are often called jokester spirits, entities that don't immediately harm you, but thrive on fear, confusion, and reaction. They mimic sounds, footsteps, and voices just enough to make you question your sanity. One night, while walking, Mosh suddenly got the overwhelming feeling that something was following him. Not just a sound, but a presence, staying just out of sight. Trusting his instincts, he checked the camera he installed in the house and saw this. Watch. After reviewing the footage, many viewers say this explains a lot. The unexplained footsteps, the whispers he's heard when no one is around, and that constant sense of being watched. Some believe whatever this is has been testing boundaries, slowly revealing itself once it realized Mosh was paying attention. Others think it's feeding off his fear, waiting for the moment he reacts or responds. So, what do you see in this video? And more importantly, what do you think has been following him this whole time? The following video is shared by a man who had previously documented how everything in his apartment changed the moment he brought home a set of old toys. Almost immediately, the space felt different. Knocking sounds began echoing through the walls, objects shifted on their own, and at times the presence felt so overwhelming that he would lock himself in another room out of fear. But this next video unsettles viewers for a different reason. This time, none of the dolls or toys are visible anywhere in the apartment, and yet the activity continues. Watch closely.
Son las 2 de la mañana, se están escuchando ruidos en la sala. Está moviendo la silla, raza. La madre. Escucho algo acá, raza. Tumbaron el desodorante. ¿Qué estará pasando, anda? Madre.
Whatever is disturbing this apartment hasn't left with the objects themselves. Many believe spirits don't always stay attached to the item that brought them in. Some think the toys may have acted as a doorway, something that allowed an entity to anchor itself to the space rather than the objects. Others argue this could be residual energy, replaying moments of disturbance long after the source is removed. But there's also a darker theory, that removing the items only angered whatever was invited in. But what do you think? Now in this next clip, the popular Midwest ghost hunter Ian investigates the Mabel Tainter Memorial Theater, a location widely considered one of the most haunted places in Wisconsin. The theater was commissioned in 1889 by Captain Andrew Tainter and his wife Bertha in honor of their late daughter Mabel Tainter, who tragically died at just 19 years old. In life, Mabel was deeply passionate about music and the arts, and because of that, no expense was spared in the theater's design. From its grand architecture to its detailed interior, the building was meant to preserve her spirit and legacy. While exploring the theater late at night, Ian begins taking photographs inside the theater room when he suddenly hears a loud bang echo through the building. Tracing the noise, Ian follows it to an office once used by Reverend Maxton. Watch closely.
That's his old chalkboard right there. And that is his handwriting. They've kept that preserved. That must have been from his last lecture, before dying. Father, if you are indeed in here, could you tap on your chalkboard? Make a tapping sound like you're writing on it. I would be amazed if you did that. What the? That sounded like paper being moved. It was on this desk. Like, whoa, you see that? Dude, look at that. That has to be it. Look at that, it's literally hanging off of the table.
Maxton wasn't just any figure connected to this place. He was the Unitarian pastor who originally convinced Andrew and Bertha Tainter to build the memorial for Mabel. When the building officially opened in 1890, it served not only as a theater, but also as a community center and the permanent home of the Unitarian Society of Menomonee. Maxton himself gave the presentation address at the building's dedication, and for years, Sunday services were held directly on the theater's stage, with Maxton preaching to the congregation. Before leaving the office, Ian decides to set his camera down, leaving it recording as he steps away. What happens next is unsettling. Did Ian manage to capture the ghost of Reverend Henry Maxton still sitting at his desk, tied to the theater he once served? For more haunting videos including Ian, subscribe to the channel now. The following clip centers on a family who, at one point, casually decided to play with a Ouija board, not expecting anything beyond a harmless experience, but ever since that moment, their home has slowly turned into a place filled with disturbances they can no longer ignore. What started as occasional unease has grown into a pattern of activity that affects their daily lives, with objects moving on their own, doors banging without anyone near them, and their children waking up from intense nightmares that they struggle to explain. One evening, while the family was gathered together in the dining area, something happened that stood out even among everything they had already experienced. Watch.
What the fuck? Leave us alone! Leave us alone. We're not scared of you anymore. Leave us alone. Just sit back down. Just sit back down. I'm not waking up the babysitter. This is crazy. Leave us alone. What the? Okay. Okay, that's enough. That's enough. Come here. Oh, come on, baby.
It begins with the door, moving on its own in a way that immediately shifts the atmosphere in the room, but what follows makes the moment even harder to dismiss, as one of the chairs is suddenly pulled without anyone touching it, the movement sharp and deliberate rather than accidental. But there are details that make this far more unsettling when you look closely. The cross in the room, something meant to symbolize protection, is seen turned upside down, a position often associated in many beliefs with defiance or corruption rather than safety. And then there is the baby swing, which had been completely still moments before, suddenly beginning to move fast, like something was pushing it. So is this simply the aftermath of something they unknowingly invited into their home? Or is it something that has been in the house waiting for the perfect time? You decide. Now in this next video, a man decides to walk into a restroom on his university campus that most students deliberately avoid, not because of anything visibly wrong with it, but because of the stories that have circulated over time. Stories about doors slamming on their own, footsteps echoing when no one is inside, and the uncomfortable feeling of being watched even when every stall appears empty. Some students have claimed they heard whispers while washing their hands. Others say they saw stall doors slightly ajar only to find nothing behind them, and a few have gone as far as refusing to step in there alone after certain hours of the day. Despite all of that, he chooses to check it out for himself, possibly out of curiosity, or maybe to prove that the rumors are exaggerated. Watch.
Universidad. El pedo ahorita es que acabo de terminar de hacer el baño. Y pues estaba todo normal. Pero ahorita están ruidos raros
y se está tocando la puerta, pero quiero que vean que pues no hay nada. Vean, ahí está mi reflejo, pero vean de este lado, pues aquí no hay nada. Acá tampoco, vean. Aquí tampoco hay nada. Aquí pues no. Y acá el lugar es bastante pequeño y está mi reflejo. Pero hoy. ¿Escucharon? ¿Escucharon? No hay nada.
What makes this moment so unsettling is not just the sound itself, but the fact that he had already checked the area and there was no one there. And yet, something moved. Some believe this could be residual energy, the idea that certain places hold onto past actions, replaying them without awareness, like an echo trapped in time. And when a place already carries stories like this, they feel like confirmation of something that's been there longer than anyone realizes. Until more students come forward to share what they've experienced inside that restroom, this one remains unsolved.